Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pocho's Shitty Builds, where the builds are shitty and so are the videos. Today's shitty build is the very first entry from Path of Exile 2. This is a Molten Blast Deadeye using Valiko's Vice to convert all Molten Blast fire damage into lightning. But the real star of the show here is Ulro Visara, which, with enough attack speed, can get a massive increase to maximum lightning damage. In 0.3, I tried multiple times to make Ulro Visara work, but the duration that it had on it at the time was just not enough for anything to really make it shine. So once they increased it from what I believe was 4 seconds to 20 seconds, it just made sense to stack as much attack speed as possible and pound everything into the ground with a skill that already has pretty good speed on it. And by as much attack speed as possible, I mean like 40 to 50% increased. It's really not that impressive, don't worry. Unfortunately, this is not a typical Pocho shitty build. This build actually came out pretty good. When anything is against a wall, Ricochet and Terrain Chain tend to completely obliterate them. I decided to use Chernobog's Pillar to put some extra fire damage on top, along with Fork to maximize the number of projectiles being chained back to the enemy. If you watch the boss footage, you can see that when they're further away from a wall, it really doesn't do that much damage, but when I get them closer to a wall, I have an average of 1.6 projectiles bouncing back at them per attack. I also decided to use point blank to make closer hits to enemies deal more damage, but I noticed that it seems like the further enemies are, the more damage it does because they're taking both the projectile damage and the shrapnel explosion damage. So I'm not sure what kind of actual return I'm getting from point blank. I was considering switching over to far shot, but I'm not sure what kind of difference that would really make. I wanted to take this build a little further than I did, but I was pretty burned out after playing the full Path of Exile 1 League and then playing the League launch and Second Wind, so I didn't get as far as I had hoped. I know you're probably disappointed that this build doesn't suck nearly as much as it should based on the name of the series. But don't worry, I'm still young and there's plenty of time to make some of the shittiest Path of Exile 2 builds you've ever seen. In fact, I do plan on doing exactly that moving forward. If this looks fun or interesting, or you just want to make fun of it later, the Path of Building link is in the description. And I promise I have plenty of ideas that will come out much shittier. If you like this video, give it a like, a subscribe, and tell me how shitty I am. Enjoy.